We started with just kegs only. Then I built my own bottling line to get into some bombers. When we did our market research when we started, liquor stores were happy with bombers at the time, as the taxes changed on beer. BC beer and US beer kind of stopped coming in the market because the price started coming up so high, and so there's a lot of empty spots in the bomber shelves for our bottles. So people were wanting those, and by the time from when we started construction until when we opened, things had just started changing. The consumers had a real shift of focus, shift of preference to cans really quick. So we started trying to raise money over a year ago to try to get into cans, changing over to labels, brewing all the beers that need to go into cans, paying for all the cans, paying for the contract canners to come in. It's a huge expense that we didn't have the cash flow to make happen. And as we kept going, we just couldn't get more money to get into cans, and we didn't really see any way to make that happen. So as we kept losing money, we had to look at a way to kind of exit a little bit. So we would put it up for sale. Yeah, it's quite volatile. The number of breweries is obviously exploding. I think the number of breweries is vastly outpacing the number of craft beer drinkers coming in new to the market. So that's obviously an issue with things. As there's probably more liquor stores and bars closing so there's actually fewer accounts as more breweries come in. So if every brewery comes out with 4 or 5 beers, there's 60 new breweries since we started at least. So there's another 250 beers kind of come into the market, trying to get into there. And we have bars that tell us just don't bother coming back. We don't want to hear from any more reps. You call, you email, people don't return your call because they're just overwhelmed with 150 reps coming on every week trying to get their beer on the shelf, trying to get their beer on tap. So it's very difficult to even communicate with people when you have a new product or when you have a new beer to do. So people, if they have friends in the industry, that's kind of how everyone's dealing with things. They're not necessarily reaching out for new stuff all the time. And consumers are only looking for new things as well, so it's very difficult. So if you don't put out a new beer every month or every 2 months or whatever, people kind of get annoyed. We release 3 beers 1 week, and people come in and what's next? So people are just want to know what's coming next. They don't want the same thing again and again, so it's very challenging that way. I'd say don't start a craft brewery now. I'd wait and see how things shake out. It's, I know there's a whole bunch of people in planning, a bunch of people about to open, and a whole bunch of people that's still happening now. So if you're looking to start planning a brewery now, you're probably 2 years away from opening. And I don't know what things like 2 years ago. I had no idea it would be the way it is now. So it's really hard to say what would happen. But I'd say anyone who's starting, I just hold on to your money the best you can, and put things in a bit of a pause mode for a bit, and wait for things to shake out for at least for the next 6 months. And with new policies from the new government with taxation and stuff, markup policy, BC beers, US beers, I think will start making their way back in and trying to push out some smaller guys. So that's really going to hurt us.